The massive doors of the Galactic Council chambers swung open with a low hum that vibrated through the floor. Ambassador Diane Miller took a deep breath as she led the small human delegation forward. Her heart pounded against her ribs, but she kept her face carefully neutral. The fate of Earth might depend on what happened in the next few minutes. The chamber stretched before them in a vast semicircle with rising tiers of seats occupied by beings from across the galaxy. Some appeared almost human, while others defied description entirely. Gelatinous orbs, floating entities made of light insectoid creatures that towered 12 feet tall, and hundreds more species Diane had never imagined possible. The human delegation looked tiny and vulnerable. As they approached the central speaking platform, thousands of alien eyes watched their every move. Diane could hear the whispers and clicks of translated conversations flowing through the chamber. "We welcome the representatives of Earth to their first Galactic Council session," announced the Grand Arbiter, a tall blue-skinned being with forearms and eyes that gleamed like polished silver. "You may present your case." Diane stepped forward, trying to ignore the weight of so many stares. Her voice carried clearly through the chamber thanks to the translation technology embedded in the platform. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council, I thank you for granting Earth this audience," she began. "We come seeking understanding, not conflict." A rumble of conversation spread through the assembled delegates. Understanding, a harsh voice cut through the noise. "You humans have violated 3 interstellar treaties. You never signed, crossed boundaries you were unaware of, and disrupted trade routes established 10,000 years before your species discovered fire." The speaker was a reptilian being with scales that shifted color with emotion, currently flashing an angry red. Ambassador Vex of the Draconian Confederation, the Grand Arbiter, identified. "Please, allow the humans to continue." Diane nodded gratefully toward the Arbiter. "We acknowledge that our expansion into the Orion Arm has caused disruption. We did not know of the Council's existence until your representatives contacted us. 3 lunar cycles ago, our species has never encountered advanced civilizations before." "Lies," shouted another delegate, a small furry creature with 6 eyes. "Earth has been visited many times. Your governments simply hid the truth from your people." Diane had been prepared for this accusation. If previous contacts occurred, they were not shared with our general population or even most of our leaders. She replied, "The delegation before you represents a united Earth learning of your existence for the first time." The Grand Arbiter raised 2 of its 4 hands for silence. "Let us review the situation for all present. Earth is a developing world that achieved faster than light travel 42 galactic standard days ago. They immediately established colonies on 3 systems within the Protected Development Zone. Their actions violated the Sentient Species Protection Act, but they could not have known this, a tall willowy being with skin like polished marble rose. The question before us is simple. Do we apply the standard penalty for such violations, which would mean the quarantine of humanity to their home system for 500 years? Or do we recognize their ignorance of galactic law as a mitigating factor?" Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Diane knew this was the moment everything hinged on. She had to make them understand. "Members of the Council," she spoke again, "I present to you an alternative. We propose that rather than punishment, Earth can offer restitution." The chamber quieted as delegates leaned forward in interest. "Our scientists have developed a unique approach to gravitational wave manipulation that allows for faster construction of stable wormholes." She continued, "Our testing shows it reduces construction time by 63% compared to current Council methods." She gestured, and her assistant Frank Adams activated a holographic display showing the technology. The display floated above the platform, rotating slowly to give all delegates a view. This technology could significantly improve transportation throughout Council space, Diane continued. "We offer this freely along with our apologies for the inadvertent violations we committed." The Council chamber erupted in discussion. The Grand Arbiter allowed it to continue for several minutes before raising all 4 arms for silence. "This is unexpected." Ambassador Miller, the Arbiter, said, The Council rarely encounters new technological approaches from emerging worlds. May I ask why you would offer such valuable technology rather than keeping it for Earth's advantage? Diane had prepared carefully for this question. Earth seeks to join the galactic community as contributors, not conquerors. We believe cooperation advances everyone faster than competition. And frankly, we recognize that we're newcomers to a civilization thousands of years older than our own. We have much to learn and wish to demonstrate our good faith. Ambassador Vex, the reptilian who had spoken earlier, rose again, his scales now shifting to a curious purple. This technology, if it functions as claimed, would be quite valuable. However, I remain suspicious of human intentions. Given Earth's history of internal conflict, what assurance do we have that you won't become the next Harvester Empire? A chill ran through the chamber at the mention. The Harvester Empire was apparently a dark chapter in galactic history. I cannot promise that humans will always be peaceful, Diane replied honestly. No species can make such a guarantee, but I can tell you that our exposure to the stars and the knowledge that we're not alone has united our world in ways we never thought possible. Our old conflicts seem petty now in the face of the vastness we've discovered. She paused, looking around the chamber, making eye contact with as many delegates as possible. What I propose is supervision, not isolation. Allow Council representatives to establish an embassy on Earth. Let us work together. Learn your laws and customs while you monitor our development. We seek guidance, not isolation. The chamber grew quiet as delegates considered her words. Finally, a being that appeared to be made of living crystal spoke. Its voice chimed like bells. I have observed humans remotely for 3 centuries. Their development has been chaotic but fascinating. They create art that stirs emotion even across species barriers. They adapt to challenges with remarkable speed. And while they fight amongst themselves, they also show surprising compassion. They built global communication networks and then used them to teach each other without payment. They developed nuclear weapons and then created treaties to limit them. They are contradictory but interesting, the crystalline being turned to face the Grand Arbiter. I propose we accept the human offer. Their technology appears valuable, and their willingness to be supervised shows wisdom we did not expect. I volunteer the crystalline concordance to lead the supervisory delegation. More delegates began to speak, now many expressing support for the proposal. Diane felt a surge of hope but kept her expression measured. The debate continued for nearly an hour, as various council factions argued the merits of different approaches. Finally, the Grand Arbiter called for a vote. Blue light indicated acceptance of Earth's proposal, red rejection. The chamber slowly filled with points of blue light with scattered red throughout. The final tally shows acceptance by 78%. The Arbiter announced, Ambassador Miller. Your proposal is accepted, Earth. We'll provide the wormhole technology to the Council and accept supervision for a probationary period of 50 years, after which your status will be re-evaluated. Relief flooded through Diane, but she maintained her diplomatic poise. Thank you, Honorable Arbiter and Council members. Earth looks forward to working with you. As the human delegation was escorted from the chamber, Frank whispered. This is amazing. I can't believe it worked. Diane kept her voice low. Not yet, we still have to deliver on our promises. The Council supervision began 2 weeks later. The crystalline delegation established their embassy in Geneva, while other Council representatives spread across Earth observing human culture, science, and politics. To everyone's surprise, the aliens were welcomed enthusiastically by Earth citizens eager to learn about the wider galaxy. 6 months into the probationary period, Grand Arbiter Kelox made an unprecedented personal visit to Earth, landing in a ship that dwarfed anything humans had built. The media coverage was global as the 4-armed blue alien was welcomed by world leaders. In a private meeting with Diane, the Arbiter spoke candidly. I must admit, Ambassador Miller, that I had doubts about your species. But you have surprised us. The wormhole technology functions exactly as promised, and your people have embraced galactic law with unexpected enthusiasm. Diane smiled. We're eager students when given the chance. Yes, the Arbiter agreed, but there is something more. Some delegates believe you were too prepared for our first meeting. You offered exactly the right technology to interest us, made precisely the right proposal. Was that luck? Ambassador. Or did Earth know of the Council before we contacted you? Diane met the Arbiter's silvery gaze steadily. The truth, Grand Arbiter. Kalox is that we didn't know of the Council's existence, but we hoped something like it existed. The alien tilted its head. Explain. For centuries, our fiction writers, our dreamers imagined galactic civilizations. When we developed faster-than-light travel, we prepared for first contact based on thousands of stories. It wasn't knowledge. It was preparation for possibilities. The Grand Arbiter made a sound like chimes. We underestimated human imagination then, perhaps, Diane said. But imagination led us to hope for cooperation rather than conquest. And that hope shaped our approach. The Arbiter was silent for a lawn. The enormous council chamber fell silent as the human representative stepped forward. Thousands of alien eyes from hundreds of species focused on the small pink figure walking toward the central podium. Captain Laura Wilson tried to control her, breathing as she approached the intimidating semicircular arena filled with the most powerful beings in the known universe. She was the first human to ever address the Galactic Council, and the weight of 7 billion lives rested on her shoulders. The chamber itself was overwhelming. A vast cathedral-like space carved from a single asteroid, floating at the center of neutral space. The curved walls rose hundreds of feet, displaying holographic banners representing thousands of worlds governed by the Council. The air was thick with a mix of atmospheres carefully balanced to sustain all forms of life. Esteemed council members boomed a massive being with translucent skin and multiple glowing organs visible within its torso. I present Captain Laura Wilson of Earth Terra in the Sol system. An unregistered world seeking recognition. Murmurs and clicks echoed through the chamber as translation devices worked to convert the words into hundreds of different languages. Laura squared her shoulders and faced the semicircle of alien representatives. The central dais where the 7 High Counselors sat loomed above her. Each High Counselor represented one of the major galactic powers, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. The humans approach. Our council, unannounced and uninvited, rumbled the leftmost counselor, a massive reptilian being with armored plates and eyes that glowed like molten gold. They violated 3 transit lanes and ignored standard identification protocols. Captain Wilson, explain these transgressions. Laura activated the translator device at her throat. We apologize for any protocols we violated. High Counselors, Earth has never been contacted by any galactic civilization. We were unaware of the proper procedures. Ignorance does not excuse trespassing, hissed a spindly insectoid counselor, clicking its mandibles. Your primitive vessel nearly collided with a Drusen passenger carrier. Laura stood her ground. Facing these powerful beings was terrifying, but she had been chosen for this mission because of her diplomatic experience and her steady nerves. With all due respect, High Counselor, we came here seeking peaceful contact, not conflict. Our ship detected the Council hub using long-range scanners. We developed independently. We had no way of knowing the proper approach vectors. A third counselor leaned forward, its body composed of what appeared to be living crystal. The question remains, why have humans come to the Council at this time? What do you seek from us? Laura activated the holographic display she had prepared. The image of Earth appeared floating above the chamber, blue and green and beautiful. We come seeking recognition and protection. Earth has detected multiple unidentified vessels in our system over the past solar year. These craft have observed us without contact, violated our airspace, and in 3 instances abducted human citizens. The council chamber erupted in conversation. The central counselor, a tall humanoid with blue skin and 4 arms raised, its upper limbs for silence. These are serious accusations, Captain Wilson. What evidence do you present? Laura gestured and the hologram changed, showing recorded footage of sleek metallic craft moving impossibly fast through Earth's atmosphere. We have tracking data, sensor readings, and testimonies from the returned abductees, she explained. Our technology is limited compared to yours, but we have confirmed these craft utilize faster than light technology not developed on Earth. The crystalline counselor pulsed with internal light. Unauthorized observation of pre-contact worlds is a serious violation of Council law. Who do you believe is responsible? We don't know. Laura admitted. That is why we have come to you. Earth has just developed limited faster than light capability. Our first test vessel succeeded 2 months ago, allowing us to reach your hub and seek audience with this council. An imposing figure rose from the observer section, a tall being with gray skin and large black eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. This human's claims are absurd. The Grand Collective has monitored Sol System for centuries. Their technology is primitive, incapable of detecting our observation craft, let alone reaching this hub without assistance. Laura felt a chill run through her. She recognized the being from abductee descriptions. The gray aliens that had featured in human folklore for decades. High Counselors. I believe we have just identified one of our uninvited visitors, she said, keeping her voice steady. The gray being made a dismissive gesture. The Grand Collective observes thousands of developing worlds. This is standard practice permitted under Council Resolution 7729. The fourth counselor, a being that appeared to be composed of flowing liquid metal, spoke, its voice somehow both musical and mechanical. Observer status does not permit interference or abduction. Representative Zaruk. Your collective has been warned about such activities before. The gray alien? Zaruk inclined his head. The humans misinterpret our scientific sampling as abduction. Their primitive minds cannot comprehend our research. Laura felt anger rising, but kept it contained. Instead, she activated another hologram showing medical scans of returned abductees. These humans were taken against their will, subjected to invasive procedures, and returned with implanted devices. She stated, "We extracted one such device." She held up a small container with a metallic object inside. Our scientists determined it broadcasts biometric data continuously. The signal directed toward the Pleiades system. The council chamber grew very quiet. The central counselor leaned forward. You brought this device here? Yes, Laura confirmed. It seems to be inactive now, but we believe it proves our claims. The liquid metal counselor flowed forward slightly. Captain Wilson, what exactly do you seek from this council? Laura took a deep breath. Earth requests recognition as a sovereign world, protected status from unauthorized interference, and membership in the appropriate developmental classification. We also request the return of any humans currently being held by unauthorized observers, and the cessation of all abductions. Zaruk made a harsh sound. These humans are not ready for contact. Their world is divided. Their species violent and unpredictable. Granting them protected status would be premature. The reptilian counselor fixed its molten gaze on Laura. What makes Earth worthy of protection? Human, when your world remains fractured by conflict? Laura had anticipated this question. We do not claim to be perfect, she answered. We have conflicts, yes. We struggle, we make mistakes, but we are unified in our desire to join the galactic community peacefully. When we confirm the existence of intelligent life beyond our world, our nations came together to form a unified response. We seek to learn, not to conquer. She gestured, and the hologram changed again, showing scenes of human achievement, art, music, scientific breakthroughs, acts of compassion. We offer our creativity, our diversity, our unique perspective, our ability to adapt, to overcome challenges through cooperation and innovation. We ask only for the chance to develop without interference, to earn our place among the stars. Through our own merits, the 7 counselors conferred among themselves in private communication. Laura waited, her heart pounding. After several minutes, the central counselor spoke. The evidence you present is concerning Captain Wilson. The council takes unauthorized interference with developing worlds seriously. We will investigate these claims. The device you have brought will be examined. The counselor paused. As for Earth's request for recognition, we must deliberate further. However, pending our investigation, we grant temporary protected status to Sol System. No unauthorized vessels may enter your space without explicit permission from both your world government and the council. Relief flooded through Laura, but she maintained her professional demeanor. Thank you. High Counselors. The reptilian counselor pointed a clawed finger at Zarek. Representative, your collective will provide complete records of all activities in Sol system. Immediately, Zarek stood rigidly. The Grand Collective operates. Within council parameters, we will comply under protest. Laura sensed this was a significant victory, but kept her expression neutral as the central counselor continued. Captain Wilson, the council will dispatch representatives to Earth to verify your claims and assess your developmental status. This is standard procedure. We will respect your sovereignty during this process. The crystalline counselor pulsed brightly. I am curious. Captain, how did you locate our hub and determine how to request an audience? Your level of technology should not have permitted. This Laura hesitated, then decided honesty was the best approach. We had help. An unidentified craft landed at our United Earth headquarters 3 weeks ago. The pilot identified himself. Only as a watcher he provided Intitive's high counselors, as she was escorted from the chamber Lao. The great chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as the massive doors swung open. Alien representatives from over 3,000 worlds fell silent as a lone human figure strode toward the central platform. Ambassador Peter Hammond felt the weight of countless alien gazes upon him, some curious, some hostile, some unreadable. His formal black suit stood in stark contrast to the exotic garb and varied physiologies of the assembled council members. The council chamber itself was a marvel of engineering, a vast dome carved from an asteroid at the galactic core. The curved ceiling displayed a real-time holographic map of the known universe with tiny lights representing each member world. The 7 high counselors sat on elevated thrones arranged in a semicircle, each representing one of the major galactic powers. The presiding counselor, a tall being with iridescent scales and 6 limbs, raised a hand for attention. The council recognizes Ambassador Peter Hammond of Earth. He announced, his voice amplified and translated simultaneously into thousands of languages. This emergency session has been called at Earth's request, Ambassador. You may proceed. Peter stepped onto the speaking platform, activating the holographic display built into its surface. Honorable counselors, he began. I come before you today with evidence of a direct violation of the Galactic Charter, specifically Article 7 regarding unprovoked aggression against member worlds. Murmur swept through. The Chamber Earth had only gained provisional membership in the Galactic Council 3 years earlier, after decades of careful diplomatic work. Many established powers still viewed humans with suspicion. Peter continued. The Vorn Empire has established military installations in the Proxima Centauri system, just 4 light-years from Earth. These installations have been disguised as research outposts, but our intelligence confirms they are armed with planet-killer weapons. The holographic display showed detailed scans of orbital platforms around Earth's nearest stellar neighbor. The Vorn representative, a hulking figure with gray leathery skin and 4 yellow eyes, rose from his seat. The Empire categorically denies these accusations. Ambassador Hammond, he growled. The installations are scientific outposts, studying stellar phenomena. Nothing more. Your primitive scanning technology has misinterpreted our equipment. Peter kept his expression neutral as he touched a control on the platform. We anticipated your denial, Ambassador Krell, he replied. The hologram shifted, showing a recorded transmission intercepted 3 days earlier. The unmistakable figure of a Vorn commander appeared, speaking clearly. Weapons installation is complete. High Command, the humans remain unaware of our true purpose. When the order comes, we can sterilize their world within hours, leaving the system intact for colonization. Gasps and exclamations erupted across the chamber. The presiding counselor called for order. This evidence is disturbing, Ambassador Krell. How does the Vorn Empire respond? The Vorn representative snarled. This is a fabrication. Humans are known for their deception. Their recreational entertainment consists entirely of elaborate fictions. They have manufactured this recording. Peter had expected this reaction. With your permission, Counselor, I will present our final evidence, he said. When the counselor nodded, Peter activated the final part of his presentation. 3 days ago, a Vorn scout ship violated Earth's sovereign space. We captured it intact along with its crew. The crew confirmed under independent questioning by Council telepath observers that the Proxima installations are indeed weapons platforms. The Scout was collecting final atmospheric data for weapon calibration. The chamber erupted in chaos. The presiding counselor pounded his ceremonial staff for order. Ambassador Krell. Restrain yourself, he commanded, as the Vorn representative appeared ready to physically attack the human. The captured crew and vessel have been transferred to Council custody for verification. Peter continued. Earth requests immediate Council action under Chapter 9 of the Charter. A peacekeeping fleet to oversee the dismantling of these illegal weapons platforms. One of the other High Counselors, a being composed of what appeared to be living crystal, spoke. What is the Vorn Empire's motivation for this aggression? Earth possesses no unique resources or strategic value. Peter met the crystalline counselor's gaze. It is not what we have, but what we are. The Vorn Empire has made no secret of their belief in genetic purity. Humans are highly adaptive and genetically compatible with numerous species. The Empire views this as a threat to their vision of ordered evolution. They fear what humans might become in a few thousand years. Ambassador Krell slammed a fist against his podium. The humans breed like parasites, he snarled. They have interbred with 3 species already in the short time they've had contact with the galactic community. Their genetic structure is chaotic, unpredictable. They represent an evolutionary wild card that must be contained. The chamber fell silent at this admission. The presiding counselor leaned forward. Ambassador Krell, did you just confirm your Empire's intent to attack Earth? The Vorn representative realized his error but recovered quickly. I spoke of containment, not destruction, he growled. Humanity must be restricted to their home system. For the safety of all, Ambassador Hammond, what action does Earth request? Peter stood tall. Earth requests 2 things. He replied. First, immediate Council intervention to neutralize the threat at Proxima Centauri. Second, a formal censure of the Vorn Empire for this violation of the Charter. We do not seek war. Earth has no desire for conflict with the Vorn people. But we will not stand idle while genocide is prepared against us. Earth has unanimously voted to defend itself by any means necessary. Should the Council fail to act, a slender representative from the ancient Eldar Confederacy rose. What would Earth do against the might of the Vorn Empire? Your technology is centuries behind theirs. Peter turned to the Eldar representative. We hope it won't come to that. Earth believes in the Council and the rule of law. But should we be forced to defend ourselves, the Vorn Empire should understand something about humans throughout our history. Whenever we have faced extinction, we have responded. With unexpected innovation, Earth has been quietly developing defensive technologies. The hologram changed, showing a small device no larger than a human hand. This prototype uses a quantum field to disrupt faster than light drives, he explained. Simply, put any ship with aggressive intent toward Earth that enters our system will find itself stranded in normal space. The technology is untested on a large scale, but our simulations indicate it will be effective. The Council chamber buzzed with surprise. The presiding counselor studied Peter closely. Ambassador Hammond, when did Earth develop this technology? Peter met his gaze steadily. We began development the day we discovered we were not alone in the universe. We hoped never to need it, but humans have always prepared for worst-case scenarios. A representative from the Commerce Guild, a collective of trading worlds, spoke. Ambassador, would Earth be willing to share this defensive technology with the Council? Peter nodded. Under proper safeguards. Yes, the technology is defensive only. It cannot be weaponized and would only activate when a vessel has demonstrated aggressive intent through weapons activation or attack trajectory. The 7 High Counselors conferred privately for several minutes, while the chamber remained tense. Finally, the presiding counselor spoke. The Council finds the evidence presented by Earth compelling. A peacekeeping fleet will be dispatched to Proxima Centauri immediately. The Vorn installations will be inspected, and if weapons are confirmed, they will be dismantled. The Vorn Empire will withdraw from the system pending a full investigation. Ambassador Krell rose to object, but was cut off by the presiding counselor. This decision is not open to debate. The Charter is clear on unprovoked aggression. The Council has spoken. Peter felt relief wash over him but maintained his diplomatic composure. "Earth thanks the Council for its wisdom," he said formally. The presiding counselor turned to him. "There is one additional matter, Ambassador Hammond. The defensive technology you have described is of significant interest. The Council requests a full technical delegation be allowed to study it." Peter had anticipated this request. "Earth welcomes Council observers," he replied. "However, the core technology will remain under Earth control until we are granted full membership status. This technology represents Earth's primary security guarantee. We cannot surrender control while we remain vulnerable," the Council members murmured, but the presiding counselor nodded. "Understanding. As a compromise, we propose accelerating Earth's petition for full membership. The defensive technology you've developed would benefit many worlds, particularly smaller ones that cannot maintain large, defensive fleets." This was more than Peter had hoped for. "Thank you, Counselor. Earth would welcome accelerated consideration." After the session concluded, Peter was approached by the Eldar representative. The slender alien studied him with ancient eyes that had witnessed millennia of galactic history. "You played a dangerous game today, human," he said. "Your species continues to surprise us." Peter smiled slightly. "We prefer diplomatic solutions, but we will always prepare for alternatives." The Eldar tilted. His head Earth was expected to beg for protection to offer concessions. Instead, you came with evidence leverage and an unexpected technological advantage. Most impressive, Peter kept his expression neutral. "We learned long ago that respect comes from strength, self-reliance is." The enormous doors of the Galactic Council chamber slid open with a low hiss, revealing a cavernous hall filled with representatives from over 2,000 worlds. Dr. Eleanor West gripped the data tablet in her hands so tightly her knuckles turned white. As the first human diplomat ever to address the full council, she felt the weight of 7 billion lives on her shoulders. The council chamber was breathtaking, a vast circular space with rising tiers of seats arranged like an ancient amphitheater. The ceiling displayed a perfect real-time hologram of the galaxy with member worlds highlighted in soft blue light. In the center stood a raised speaking platform surrounded by floating translation drones. Eleanor walked forward her, footsteps echoing in the sudden silence as thousands of alien representatives turned to observe her. Some resembled humans with subtle differences, others defied description entirely. Gelatinous beings, crystalline entities, floating gas clouds contained, in mechanical suits and hundreds more variations. Presiding over the assembly were the 7, the most powerful beings in the known galaxy. Each represented one of the ancient founding species of the Council. They sat on elevated thrones, their forms imposing and otherworldly. The Grand Arbiter, a towering being with golden skin and 4 arms, rose. "The Council recognizes Dr. Eleanor West of Earth Sol System. She comes before us under Article 16 of the Charter, the right of unaffiliated worlds to petition in matters of galactic importance. Dr. West, you may approach." Eleanor stepped onto the central platform, feeling the subtle tingle of the translation field activating around her. She looked up at the assembled representatives and took a deep breath. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council, I thank you for granting this audience. Earth has existed in isolation, unaware of your great assembly until recently, when we detected the quantum signature of your communications network 3 months ago. We were astonished to discover the vast civilization that surrounds our small world." A murmur ran through the assembly. Many delegates leaned forward with interest. Others made gestures that Eleanor couldn't interpret. "We come before you today not to request membership or to establish trade, but to bring warning," she continued. The holographic display above the platform activated, showing a stellar map. "A great threat approaches from the galactic rim, one that we believe endangers all sentient life." The Grand Arbiter raised one of his 4 hands, a bold claim. "Dr. West, what evidence does Earth present?" Eleanor manipulated her data tablet, sending information to the central system. The hologram shifted, showing astronomical data. "For the past decade, Earth astronomers have observed unusual stellar phenomena in the Perseus Arm. Several stars have dimmed, then disappeared completely, not through natural supernova events, but as though they were being systematically harvested of energy. The The science minister of the Delphian Confederation rose from his seat. His translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns as he spoke. These could be natural phenomena, Doctor. The Council has catalogued many exotic stellar events. Eleanor nodded respectfully. We considered that possibility, Minister. But observe the pattern. She highlighted points on the map. These events form a direct line moving toward the core systems. Each event is precisely 12 light-years from the previous. 1. The statistical probability of this occurring naturally is less than 1 in 70 billion. The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. 3 months ago, our deep space telescopes captured this. Eleanor continued. The hologram changed, showing a massive structure nearly the size of Earth's moon. It appeared to be mechanical but with organic elements. A machine entity unlike anything humanity had developed. The object emits an unusual radiation signature, she explained. Comparing it to your own communications network, which we recently detected, allowed us to translate some of the signals. It appears to be a scout for a much larger force. Our linguists and scientists have partially decoded their communications. Eleanor hesitated then, pressed another control on her tablet. The chamber filled with a harsh mechanical sound that somehow conveyed malevolence despite its alien nature. The translated meaning appears to be advanced scout to collective. We have identified multiple civilizations with harvestable technology and biological material. Resource extraction will proceed according to protocol. All sentient opposition will be terminated. Prepare the convergence. The council chamber erupted in alarmed conversations. The Grand Arbiter called for order, striking his staff against the floor 3 times. When silence returned, he fixed Eleanor with an intense gaze. Why would Earth bring this to us instead of preparing your own defenses? Dr. West, your world is not yet part of the Council. You have no obligation to warn us. Eleanor met his gaze. We detected your communication network and realized we are not alone in the galaxy. This threat appears to target all advanced civilizations. Earth is still developing. Our technology is limited. The approaching force would likely overwhelm us, but together, the combined knowledge and power of the Council might stand against it. We choose cooperation over isolation. A hulking representative from the warrior Krell species rose from his seat. The humans could be fabricating this threat, he growled. His scaled skin shifted colors as he spoke. Perhaps this is a ploy to gain Council protection or technology. Eleanor kept her composure. Respectfully, Ambassador Earth has nothing to gain from deception. We are sharing all our data openly for your scientists to verify. If we are wrong, we would welcome that news. But if we are right, every moment of preparation could save billions of lives across the galaxy. The Krell ambassador. Snarled humans are known for their imagination and deception. Your species creates elaborate fictions for entertainment. How do we know this is not one of them, one of the 7? The ancient Arcturan prefect with glowing eyes and skin like burnished metal spoke, her voice resonating with power. I sense no deception from this one. The warning appears genuine. The Grand Arbiter nodded. Let us examine the human data. He gestured to the Science Council, a collection of the galaxy's most brilliant minds, from dozens of species. They huddled together, interfacing directly with the information Eleanor had provided. While they deliberated, Eleanor stood quietly on the platform, aware of the thousands of alien eyes studying her. Some with curiosity, some with suspicion, some unreadable. After what seemed like hours but was likely only minutes, the head of the Science Council approached the center. We have analyzed the data provided by Earth. He announced his body was vaguely insectoid with multiple limbs and compound eyes. The astronomical observations are accurate. The pattern of stellar disruption does indicate a directed movement toward the core systems. The communication intercept contains frequencies and patterns inconsistent with known species. It appears genuine. The chamber erupted again, this time in concerned discussions. Eleanor could feel the tension rising in the room. The Grand Arbiter raised all 4 of his hands for silence. The Council will deliberate on this matter. Doctor, West, you will remain as Earth's representative. For 3 days, the council debated. Eleanor was provided quarters in the diplomatic wing of the massive station that housed the council. From her window, she could see the swirl of ships arriving and departing as news of the potential threat spread throughout the Alliance. On the 4th day, she was summoned back to the chamber. The Grand Arbiter addressed the now somber assembly. The council has reached a decision. We believe the threat identified by Earth is genuine. Our long-range scouts have confirmed additional stellar anomalies following the pattern predicted by Earth scientists. A defensive coalition will be formed immediately. All member worlds will contribute according to their capabilities. He turned to Eleanor. Dr. West, the Council extends its gratitude to Earth for bringing this warning. Despite not being members of our alliance, you chose to share this knowledge. Your species has demonstrated wisdom and courage. Eleanor bowed slightly. Earth is honored to help. We offer whatever assistance we can provide, though our technology is limited compared to many Council worlds. The Krell ambassador surprisingly rose again. The humans have proven themselves worthy allies, he growled. Perhaps, not in technology, but in vigilance and courage. My warriors will stand with Earth should the threat approach their world. Other representatives began to voice similar support. A wave of solidarity swept through the chamber. Eleanor was overwhelmed. By the sudden shift from suspicion to alliance, the Grand Arbiter raised his hands once more. The Council proposes an unprecedented action. He announced Earth will be granted provisional protective status within the alliance. A technological exchange will begin immediately to prepare your world for possible attack. Council representatives will travel to Earth to establish diplomatic relations and coordinate defensive preparations. Does Earth accept these terms? Eleanor felt a surge of emotion. This was far more than she'd hoped for when she embarked on this dangerous mission. Earth accepts with gratitude, she said. We welcome the Council's representatives and pledge our full cooperation. In the days that followed the first official council, delegation arrived at Earth. The arrival of massive alien ships in orbit caused initial panic, but the world's governments had been prepared. Eleanor having sent messages ahead. The United Earth Defense Council welcomed the alien representatives at a hastily constructed landing facility in neutral Geneva. The massive chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as the human delegation entered. Guards in ceremonial armor flanked the 5 humans as they walked down the central aisle toward the speaking platform. The chamber itself was a marvel of alien engineering, a vast amphitheater carved from a single asteroid suspended in the neutral territory between galactic arms. Overhead, a transparent dome revealed the swirling colors of a nearby nebula and the pinprick lights of 10,000 stars. Lead diplomat Alan Foster felt the weight of countless alien eyes upon him. The chamber housed representatives from over 300 spacefaring civilizations, some humanoid, others so alien that human minds struggled to comprehend their forms. Floating, crystalline entities, beings of pure energy, insectoid hive minds, and countless other variations of sentient life, all focused their attention on the first humans ever to stand before the Council. The High Arbiter, a tall being with silvery skin and 4 arms, raised his ceremonial staff. The Council recognizes the delegation from Earth Sol System, 3rd planet. He announced, his voice simultaneously translated into hundreds of languages through the neural interfaces each delegate wore. You may present your case. Alan stepped onto the speaking platform, activating the holographic display embedded within it. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, we thank you for granting us this audience, he began. Earth has existed in isolation until recently, unaware of the vast civilization that surrounds us. A murmur ran through the assembly. Many delegates leaned forward with interest, while others made gestures of skepticism. The holographic display showed Earth a blue-green jewel against the blackness of space 3 standard cycles ago. Continued. Alan, our deep space monitoring stations detected unusual activity at the edge of our solar system. Investigation revealed observation posts established by unknown entities. We traced the quantum signatures to this council, the High Arbiter nodded. This is correct. Earth has been under standard observation as a developing world. This is normal protocol for species approaching technological threshold. Alan met the Arbiter's gaze. We understand that now. However, what followed was not standard protocol. Two of our research vessels exploring the outer solar system were destroyed without warning or communication. 17 human lives were lost. The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. The High Arbiter raised his staff for silence. That is a serious accusation. Diplomat Foster, he said. Which member species does Earth believe responsible for this action? Alan activated the next part of the presentation. The hologram changed, showing recorded footage from the final moments of one research ship before its destruction. The attacking vessel was clearly visible, its design unlike anything humans had created. Our analysis indicates the aggressor vessel belongs to the Draconis Imperium. Alan said. His voice remained steady, though naming one of the most powerful factions in the Council was a calculated risk. From the Draconis section of the chamber came an angry hiss. Their representative, a tall reptilian being with scales that shifted, colors with emotion, rose to his feet. The Imperium categorically denies involvement in any such incident. He declared, the human vessel likely malfunctioned. Their primitive technology is notoriously unreliable. Alan kept his expression neutral. It anticipated your denial, Ambassador. He touched the control panel again. The hologram shifted to display a piece of debris recovered from the destroyed vessel. Clear markings in Draconis script were visible, embedded in the metal. Our linguists could not translate this, but the design matches known Draconis patterns, Alan explained. Furthermore, we recovered this. The hologram changed again, showing a recording device. The storage unit was damaged, but our technicians managed to extract partial data. We will play this now for the Council. The chamber filled with the final transmissions from the doomed research vessel. Static garbled most of the audio, but several clear phrases emerged. Unknown vessel. This is Earth science ship Galileo. We are on a peaceful mission. Please respond. Then a voice not human, cold and precise. Target confirmed. Proceeding with elimination. Unauthorized species shall not be permitted beyond their boundaries. The fools approach the Nexus Zone without permission. Cleanse. The transmission ended in static. The Council chamber remained eerily silent as the implications settled over the assembly. The High Arbiter turned his gaze to the Draconis Ambassador. Your response. The reptilian delegate's scales flushed deep, crimson. This is fabrication. The humans manufactured this evidence to gain Council sympathy. They seek advanced technology protection. Perhaps even territory. Alan waited, allowing the accusation to hang in the air for a moment before responding. Honorable Arbiter, we anticipated skepticism, so we bring before you something unexpected. He gestured, and the final member of the human delegation stepped forward. She was not human at all, but a Draconis female. Her scales a rare silver-blue pattern denoting high birth. I am Syrinx, formerly Vice Commander of Imperial Border Fleet. She announced, her voice strong despite obvious tension. I ordered the attack on the human vessels under direct command from Imperial High Command. The humans were approaching a restricted zone containing a subspace anomaly. The anomaly is not registered with the Council because it contains technology the Imperium wishes to exploit exclusively. The chamber erupted in chaos. The Draconis Ambassador lunged forward only to be restrained by Council guards. His scales now pulsed black with fury. Traitor, he hissed, you betray your entire species for these primitives. The High Arbiter struck his staff against the floor 3 times, restoring order. Commander Syrinx, the Council would hear why you chose this path. Syrinx stood proudly. I witnessed the destruction of unarmed research vessels whose only crime was curiosity. The humans sent no weapons, no soldiers, only scientists seeking knowledge. After the attack, I investigated further and discovered the truth about the anomaly. The Imperium found ancient technology in the humans' outer system, technology that could shift the balance of power in the Council. I could not be complicit in murder to hide this violation of Council. Lawlan resumed speaking. We offer Commander Syrinx asylum on Earth in exchange for her testimony. She brings with her evidence of the anomaly's location and the Imperium's activities there. The High Arbiter conferred briefly with the other Council leaders before addressing the Assembly. This is a grave matter. Attacks on developing worlds are strictly forbidden by the Third Covenant. Further, the concealment of technological discoveries violates the sharing protocols established after the last galactic conflict. He turned to the Draconis ambassador. Does the Imperium wish to revise its position? The reptilian diplomat hissed softly. This female is deranged, acting alone against Imperial policy. We demand her return for psychological evaluation. Alan shook his head. Commander Cyrix brings navigational data flight records and command transmissions, all authenticated with Imperial codes. That evidence has been transmitted to Council security. The Council chamber buzzed with activity as various factions processed this information. Finally, the High Arbiter raised all four hands for silence. The Council will investigate these claims. If confirmed, sanctions will be imposed on the Draconis Imperium as prescribed by charter humans. What do you seek as resolution? Alan took a deep breath. This was the crucial moment. Earth seeks three things, he said. First, acknowledgement of our sovereign borders and status as a developing civilization with protection under Council law. Second, reparations for the families of those killed. Third, a full investigation of the anomaly in our system with results shared among all Council members in accordance with the sharing protocols. The High Arbiter considered this. The first two requests fall within standard guidelines. The third, the ancient technology belongs to all sentient beings or none. Alan added, we do not seek exclusive access, merely equal participation. From the upper tiers of the chamber, a representative of the Eldar Concordance rose. The Eldar were among the oldest species in the galaxy, their crystalline bodies housing minds that had witnessed millennia of history. The humans show wisdom beyond their development stage. The Eldar representative observed. They could have attempted to exploit this discovery alone. Instead, they bring it before the Council. This suggests they may be ready for provisional contact. Status murmurs of agreement spread through sections of the chamber, though the Draconis faction and their allies remained hostile. After further deliberation, the High Arbiter announced the Council's decision. Earth will be granted protected status under the Development Charter. The attack will be investigated, and if confirmed, appropriate reparations will be assigned. A joint council research team, including Earth representatives, will examine the anomaly with all discoveries subject to sharing protocols. He turned directly to Alan. Furthermore, in recognition of Earth's approach to this situation, the Council grants provisional contact status. Earth may establish a permanent embassy within Council space and receive a Council delegation on your world. Relief flooded through Alan, though he maintained his diplomatic composure. Earth accepts these terms and thanks the Council for its wisdom as the human delegation was escorted from the chamber. Alan noticed the reactions of various alien representatives. Some appeared curious, others concerned. Many seemed reassessing their views on humanity. The Draconis ambassador watched. With undisguised hatred, his scales now a deep purple of suppressed rage.